Okay, you guys, we are live and we are here for week number 3. I'm so excited to be wrapping this up. And I know there's been so much information. And last week we covered, or the last video, I should say, we covered booking, coaching, working full circle. And there's so many different things with that that are honestly going to take so much time. Just when I say that, I mean like practice. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. You guys aren't going to be able to change absolutely everything. But what I know is that if you're willing to be a student and to put some of this stuff into practice, it is so easy to just keep doing the same thing that you're doing. But the problem is when we keep doing the same thing we're doing and we expect different results, that is the definition of insanity, and that will never happen. And so it's so crucial that we are willing to adapt to some of these changes. And by no means am I saying that I know everything and what I say goes, because more than normally, you guys have a phenomenal sales director who is providing for you some amazing tools, some amazing nuggets. And to be quite honest, her stuff could be 10 times better than what I'm putting out here, because she is probably in the field way more than me. I'm still very much an active director, consultant, national sales director. I always try to have parties on my books. I just had 6 parties at the end of July. So I'm definitely someone who's relatable, someone who is aware of what's going on out there in the fields, but at the same time, your directors are probably definitely doing way more than me, and therefore what they have could just rock your world. And so it's kind of like one of those things where you just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt and decide what works. Do something that works for them, do what works for me, but y'all need to make it work for you so that you get the best results possible. And so I've had so much fun. Things have been so crazy for me as far as the travel schedule and everything associated with switching these to live workshops. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for just rolling with me on this one. Just so much behind the scenes that goes into that. And so I just appreciate you guys trusting me, running with me on this. And the more I've traveled and done these events with you guys, the more I'm so grateful that I listened to myself and listen to the Lord and allowed myself to do these workshops. Because, yesterday when I was doing one of the Alabama workshops, I was able to have a one-on-one conversation with someone, and it just made me realize I would have never been able to have that conversation with her about what she's going on in her life and how some of the things I said really hit home for her if I was on a TV screen. And so I'm so grateful that I listened to my gut and I chose to do these events in person and not over a screen. I want to connect. I want to see you guys knee to knee, toe to toe. So most of you, if not all of you guys, have seen me at one of these live workshops, or you wouldn't be watching this video. And so I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for the connections, the faces that I got to see, time I got to spend with you guys. And these might be videos you guys are watching with your unit. These might be videos that your director sent to you to watch, and they're not watching them as a unit. My heart's desire is you guys are watching it with someone else so that you can have some dialogue and some conversation about these videos and be able to take them further with you. So anyway, so last week we touched on, let me just kind of recap a little bit. Our first week was kind of like the what did I call it? The fire hose, where it was just kind of like a plethora of information in 2 hours. And only one of my locations, we got 3 hours because I didn't time it properly, but it worked out great. And it was an afternoon on a Sunday. So it worked out phenomenal, where we got to spend more time together, and everybody planned for 3 hours and I did not. So it worked out great because we were able to really dissect that information in a deeper way. And then our first week, we talked about, our first week after the live workshop, let me see, where are we? Going through my binder. We dove into talking about fear more. We dove into writing down the truths that go along with that so that we can reprogram that. And I hope you guys have been working on that. If you haven't, these worksheets are for you to go back and work and just kind of touch on it and all that great stuff. And you can have these open conversations with your sales directors and with your consultants, okay? Diving into fear. We talked about what fear costs us. Yikes, kind of a scary thought when you think about how much a simple thought or fear is costing you in your life and in your everyday operations. We talked a little bit about the positivities of fear and how you can let fear motivate you, which is a good thing. And then on page 17, we talked about I am statements. There's some great resources on I am statements out there, but I will tell you guys, they need to be statements that you want to be working on. And so, my statement might not be to myself, I am a national sales director. Well, yeah, I am a national sales director. So that probably would not be the best statement for me to have on my am statements. My I am statements need to be something that empower me, something that I'm working towards, something that I'm excited about, something that maybe I really lack, that I want to get better in. Okay, so that's what the general reason behind your I am statements. And then we talked about confidence further. We talked about how we can increase our confidence and how it's so important to not confuse memory with facts, because you guys, that analogy where I told you about my sister and I having the exact same childhood, being in the exact same moments at the exact same times, having completely different memories on those occurrences. And it was like, woo, like seriously, such an eye-opener as to that statement of how we can confuse memory with facts. Facts are, maybe you've struggled in your business previously, but the truth is you don't have to. The facts are, that's the past. You don't have to carry that with you. So there's so many cool things that we can really transform when we stop confusing facts with memory. So I love that. And then I told you guys about the statistics that we say to ourselves, 300 to 1,000 words a minute. Oh my gosh. And so making sure that we are reprogramming our thoughts, making sure our thoughts are going in the right areas, and to be curious instead of worried. I love that, to be curious instead of being worried and being solution oriented versus problematic. So all good stuff. Our next page, I talked about how with a cute doll, I wanted you guys to write down all the things that you loved about yourself, as hard as that can be. When I sit down with a new consultant and do her welcome appointment, I always tell her, tell me what are 3 words that best describe yourself. Tell me some things you love about yourself. Because let's be honest, most of us don't get an opportunity to brag about ourselves. But also, when we think about the things that we love about ourselves, we have a really hard time coming up with that. But yet we have a million things that we do wrong, right? A million things that we'd love to change about ourselves. And so it's so imperative that we become aware of how we operate, our internalness, and why we love ourselves. Like, I'm a kind person. I'm loyal. I'm always on time. I mean, like, for me, most of the time that's the case, but I'm just listing some, y'all. And so those are things that maybe you love about yourself. Like maybe you're always thinking of others. Like what are some of those things that you get to hone in and say, oh my gosh, you're right. Maybe, maybe to myself in this moment, I might not be the most organized person, but what I do know is that when given something to me, I run with it and I honor whoever did the time to put that out there. So, whatever it might be, I think we have this long list of things that we're not great at, and then this list of things that maybe we are great at, or maybe you don't have a list, or maybe you can't even think of anything. And so that's why we have this activity, because we want to think about what you're great at. Okay. So then we really focused on controlling our thoughts. We focused on controlling our thoughts, how we can work to not be overstimulated, how we can, practice meditation, control, restraint, different things like that. Because you guys, reality is this business is phenomenal. But if you struggle with your thoughts, with your brain, with your fear, it's hard to move forward at all. Like there's truly almost an impossibility to move forward when we hold ourselves back with all of our fears and our thoughts. So we have to be proactive in working in that. So that's what we're doing. Okay. And then reprogramming the thoughts, I am broke. Your power statement is, I have more than enough money, or I am grateful for the abundance. I mean, whatever it might be. Again, we're working on our thoughts and kind of reprogramming. My booking tips, we talked about that in week number 2. Week number 3, booking tips, not texting, calling, some of my verbiage, exclusive keywords, wait list is one that I love, and guest list. If I don't hold you, if I don't hear back from you with your guest list, I can't save your spot or your gift certificate. So all those different things that I touched on, you guys, pretty simple. Talked about the importance of consistency, and that without bookings, you are out of business. And it doesn't matter how great your customer reorder business is, but we are not leading by example. We are not raising the bar, and we're definitely not holding ourselves to an important standard when we don't have bookings on our books. Okay. Keys to making sure you have activity, accountability, setting a minimum. Have you guys run with that? Like, Do you have a weekly minimum that you're working on? And again, this stuff doesn't have to shift overnight, but it's important that you are running with some of this stuff and making it happen. And y'all, everything I'm saying isn't something you're going to implement. It might not be something you ever implement. It might be something that you start to implement and run with and see how it works for you. But one thing I know is some of these things are absolutely crucial and critical to your success, and that is bookings. So there's no way around that. Okay, you need bookings. And power partners, excuses, different things. We've talked about that stuff. Okay. And then keys to coaching, don't over text, try to connect, keywords to use. Really the party's in your control, you guys, when you know the guest list, when you've connected with everybody, when you know who's coming, like that's so awesome that you get to control that. So I love that. Keys to coaching, thoughts on selling. I shared with you guys my 12 tips on thoughts of selling, and then closing questions. So again, you guys might have way better closing questions, and that's great. Use them if they work for you, okay? And we talked about team building and why it's so imperative that we team build, and that it can really be so beautiful because we can do it organically. We can organically grow our teams or organically grow our areas by being in the field, right? By doing parties, right? By accountability, by activity, by just attracting others to the life that we live, what we love. When we're genuine about our passion for our company, then we will attract people, and we will get that tribe that we want by being all of those things, by being authentic, by being real, by doing the appointments, by the follow-up, the follow-through, by influencing people, by promoting ourselves, all that stuff really is tied together in building your dream team and your dream tribe, so that you know that when you do it, you're doing it from your heartbeat and authentically to carry on Mary Kay's legacy, which is obviously one of our big things that we are so in love with, is carrying on this legacy. So shared with you guys some things on how to team build, and then I shared with you on Full Circle and what that looked like for Crystal and I when she came to my launch party and literally like 5 months later joined my team, y'all. It took some time. It took some layering. It took some consistency, not harassing, not scary Kay, but some true, authentic, just throwing it out there, throwing out the invite, like organic, light, airy, like, hey, come, not intense, not expectations, not desperation, but true, authentic, just joy. Like, hey, girl, we got this thing coming on. I'd love for you to come. And y'all, now we're both national sales directors because of how I honored Mary Kay, and I honored Crystal, and I honored myself in doing it organically, authentically, throwing it out there, but not dropping the ball and not giving up. So I love that. Okay, so we're going to dive in a little bit more, you guys, this week, and this will probably be our shortest one. And the reason behind that is I want you guys to have some time to dive into this. And I told your sales directors, if it was possible, to have you guys have your laptops or iPads so that you can pull out your Pinterest and you guys can play with this a little bit and have fun with it, okay? And I want you to know that majority of what I'm going to talk to you guys about is something that I learned at a workshop. Her name is Sarah Centrella, and she wrote, oh my gosh, what is her first book? I read it and I loved it. Let me look it up really quickly, you guys. But her second book is called Future Boards, and it's really good. And it's, why am I struggling with this? Her first book. It was a great book. I loved it. And she's just so smart, and she's like she's a walking goal board, like a walking manifestation. Like, she's just so great at it. Okay, where is it? Oh, Hustle, Believe, and Receive. That's what it is. How did I forget that? Hustle, Believe, and Receive. And you can follow her on Instagram and all kinds of fun stuff. But anyways, that's where this came from. So I don't want to take credit for teaching you guys this stuff, because I attended a workshop. I paid for a workshop. I went and spent a whole Sunday afternoon with her, and this was really enlightening. So I'd love to share with it what I learned with you guys. Take with it what you want, okay? Okay, so on page 28, we talk about manifestation, bucket list, live list. Okay, so when I went to this workshop, I want to tell you guys that she told us that we needed to write down our once in a lifetime experiences. What are our top 10 once in a lifetime experiences? So this is something that was really hard for me because I didn't really know where to go with this. I wasn't really sure on what that looked like. And she had us write down, if you could in a million years, what would your top 10 live list experiences be? And what I love about this is how many of us actually take the time to do that? Not very many of us ever take the time. I mean, outside of Mary Kay, we really don't dream that much, right? Like outside of Mary Kay, outside of this opportunity, we're not taught to dream beyond when we were little. And so what are your 10 once in a lifetime experiences? And so I'm going to read to you guys some of mine, okay? So number 1 was to rent. I mean, we had to get crazy, y'all. Rent a private plane and take my entire family on a European trip for a month and stay in a beautiful villa all to ourselves with personal chefs and transportation. How cool is that? I'd never really thought about that. I mean, I had to sit here and think, okay, like, this is interesting. I mean, my goal is to be a national. I want to be inner circle. I want to have financial freedom. I want to make an impact, but like this stuff really required me to like dig deep. Okay, so I'll tell you a couple more. Number 2 was to fly to Australia first class and explore Sydney in a yacht and a private transportation everywhere we went. Now, I could probably upgrade that and say a private jet instead of saying first class. We could totally say a private jet. So flying to Australia in a private jet, exploring Sydney in a yacht, and private transportation everywhere we go. So just having that once in a lifetime experience. You guys, these are things I've never thought of, but I had to sit there and I had to think about in my wildest dreams, what would I love to do? And she told us it could not be things. It could not be things. It had to be experiences. And I thought, well, gosh, that's so hard. So, but you guys, when you do experiences, it requires you to think about other people with you. Okay. So number 3, take my friends to Fiji and Bora Bora on a private yacht. And a luxury dinner, all in our fun gowns, like with our friends, our husbands. Like, how cool would that be to just take all your friends on this fabulous vacation in Bora Bora and Fiji on a yacht with it, like a dinner, like a fancy dinner. I love that. Number 4 was to take my mom to Hawaii and helicopter over all the volcanoes. Hawaii is the only state my mom has not been into, has not been to a country. And so I want to take her to Hawaii. Like, how cool is that? Number 5 was to go to Croatia, which we are. Maybe even in Croatia right now, as you guys are watching this, rent a private island. That we did not do. In a hot air balloon over vineyards while drinking wine and eating cheese. All the fancy experiences. Well, I will tell you guys, part of this one has come true. We are going to Croatia. We're staying in 3 beautiful luxury hotels. We are staying at the best of the best because my husband booked it with our Mary Kay money. And we are doing all kinds of fancy excursions. I don't think a hot air balloon is one of them, but that sounds awesome. And nor did we rent a private island, but we are doing all kinds of fancy excursions, fun things. And so how cool is it to say that part of this is coming true? So I might have to look into that whole balloons over the vineyards. And I don't even know if that's like really a thing. And until I dove into creating my future board, that's how you figure that out, is by seeing what you can even do in these places. Number 6 was to be on Ed Mylett's podcast and enjoy 5-star experiences in San Diego, because that's where he lives, is in San Diego. And whoever he brings in, they have like the best of time. So it's number 6. 7 is to take my girlfriends on a dream vacation, explore the Hamptons, New York City, see Broadway show, restaurants, stay in a beautiful home, attend all of the shows, private plane, all the amazing first class services. Like, how cool, right? Like, again, it's easy to think about the things that you want, but not necessarily the things that you would love to do. So let's see, is there anything else? Take Jason on all the luxury trips to all the protein games in a limo and meet all his famous players. So anyone who knows my husband knows he's huge into all the sports. And so how fun would it be to just take him to all his favorite teams, all his favorite games, get to meet the players, all that cool stuff, okay? And then number 9 was a Napa Valley experience with Jason and a designer gown and dinner in a castle. That's cool. And my last one was a mom and sister trip to London, stay in the castle, the best food, shopping, and all the experiences. So you guys, these are my top 10 when I had to think about like experiences. So what would you love to do? And I noticed as I've gone over some of this has been a little while. I would probably add a few things. I would add the opportunity to go on a crazy, amazing, awesome mission trip and impact others and go to Africa or a different country and spend an entire month there just sharing the gospel and playing with the kids and the women and learning their language and having so much fun. I mean, there's so many different things that I would love to put on that list now, okay? So I want you guys to list your 10 once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Now this video is going to be short, so you guys will have plenty of time to work on this. So I want you to dig deep. I don't want them to be things. It can't be go to France and buy a Louis Vuitton. Like it has to be, like it can be shopping, sure, but you cannot go into detail about how much money you want to spend. It cannot be something like you have to spend, like look at it as though you have to spend all this money, but it can't be on things. It has to be on experiences, okay? There's the rule. Okay, so there you go. Okay, manifestation continued. So the first rule, you guys, and I love it when she said this, she said is own your story. You have to own your story. It's your competitive advantage. It's your story. You guys, when people hear my story, it's not like, heard that one before. No, it's my competitive edge. It's my competitive advantage. That's Brittany's story. You have your story. Gloria has her story. Leah has her story. Stacy has her story. Everybody has their story. That's their competitive edge. That's their competitive advantage. What's your competitive edge? You got to own it, you guys. We have to own our story. I remember when I was seeing a therapist and, I told him, I said, I just want it to all go away. I'd love to erase it so I can just move forward. And he said, Brittany, I'm so sorry, but that's not possible. You cannot erase your story. You cannot erase what you've been through. You cannot erase what you've learned. You cannot erase the heartache or the pain. Those are things you can choose to learn from. You can choose to embrace them. You can choose to adapt, and you can choose to learn from them. And that's one thing that was like, dang it, that was not the answer that I wanted to hear. But what I know is that is why I am who I am, where I am, and who I be, right? It's from those experiences and from that being my story and my journey. And so I want you guys to own your story. It's your competitive edge and your competitive advantage, okay? Perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit today about dreamers versus thinkers. So typically you happen to be barring on the edge of one. You're either a dreamer or you're a thinker. And as she was going over this, I was like, gosh, I think I'm a thinker, but I'm definitely a dreamer at the same time. And so some of you guys may have, similarities for both, but we tend to gear towards one. So I'm a thinker. Okay. So dreamers, I'm going to give you guys 4 examples that you can list under dreamers. Okay. Number 1 is that dreamers need to take action. They need a plan. Dreamers tend to live in like this la la land, but don't realize that we need action. So dreamers need action, okay? Dreamers need action. Dreamers need to create a plan. So when we're thinking about these pie in the sky businesses we're going to start, or, next month I'm going to be, a sales director, and the following month I'm going to be a national sales director, like that's all great, but we need a plan. We need to not just live in la la land. We need to create the land we want. Okay. And so we need to create an action plan. You need a plan. And so because number 3 under dreamers is we tend to live in the dreams versus creating the dreams. Okay. We live in the dreams. You can put yourself in an imaginary place and go for a long time and wake up and realize, still sitting on the couch. Right. And so you're living in your dreams versus living and creating them. And that's the important thing is we need to go from dreaming to creating, okay? And number 4, I wrote down is we tend to be a little too hopeful living in la la land. So too hopeful versus we need to bring some reality into that. And so if your goal is to be a national sales director next month, it's probably not a reality because I don't know anyone doing this that's got it all together just yet, right? Super close people, but not quite there. So the reality of you being a national next month, there's no reality of that, okay? And so too hopeful, la la land, we need to be, yes, a little dreamy and a little realistic, but you need a good combination of both, okay? Whereas thinkers, you don't allow yourself to go there. Dreamers love living in dreamland. Thinkers are too realistic. We do not allow ourselves to dream. We do not allow ourselves to go into creation mode. We want to, nope, that's probably not going to happen. Nope, I don't see it coming together, so I'm not going to put that on my goal poster, right? That's what thinkers tend to do. Thinkers get overwhelmed very easily. And y'all remember, becoming overwhelmed is a choice. It's 100% a choice to be overwhelmed. It's 100% a choice to allow what people say and think about you to affect you. These are all choices. One of my dear friends said to me, Brittany, it's a choice to be offended. And I'm like, well, hot dang. That's a really good point. It's a choice to be offended, okay? So thinkers get overwhelmed. That's a choice, y'all. We tend to get overwhelmed. That's a choice. Thinkers struggle with dreaming because it's not realistic. So you struggle to even think about manifestation. You struggle to even think about a goal poster or a vision because you're like, this all sounds weird. You're thinking this all sounds hooky pooky. You're all like, this is strange. Like, this is weird. Like, you struggle because there's not realisticness with that, okay? Thinkers 4 tend to take things a little too seriously. You want a plan. You want it mapped out. You want everything. You want the facts before you can dream it, right? And sometimes, y'all, dreamers really do have an edge over us because they're so obsessed with the ability to see beyond their current circumstances that they have a great opportunity at making it come together if they're matching it with action. Whereas thinkers, we really struggle. We really struggle to see beyond our current state of mind. We struggle to see beyond our current situation. And so therefore, we're too serious and we can't go to the next place until we see something else happen, right? Okay, so we're too serious. Number 5, we struggle to create vision because, like I said earlier, it's weird. We struggle to create vision because it's uncomfortable. It's not real. It's not and it goes against everything that we've always believed and operated in, okay? I totally get it. I totally get it. Okay, so let me go to my notes. Okay, so I want to share with you guys 3 things that she shared with us that will block your ability to manifest. Now, I want to tell you guys, when I heard about manifestation, I thought it was weird. I thought it was cuckoo. I thought it was hooky. I thought that maybe it was even Jesus tied, right? Like I even thought, and that's just my personal beliefs. Everybody's beliefs are different. But for me and where I stood, I felt like, well, gosh, does this go against everything I believe? But it doesn't. It does not go against everything you believe. Manifestation, you guys, is putting out there to the universe what you want to accomplish, what you believe is in its capabilities, what you want, and things that are crazy. But when you put your mind into where you're expecting that, you're seeing it, you're believing it's possible, and you're matching it with action, the universe will bring it to you. And you guys, if you read her book, you'll see that. And I'm not saying you need to read her book, but I'm just saying it's the real deal, okay? So what are 3 things that block us from manifesting? The first thing is we can't afford it, so I don't want it on my board, right? That's more of a thinker. I can't afford that. I'm not putting that on my board. Y'all, there's a lot of things on that thing I just told you that I can't afford, but it's still on my board, okay? Because I don't want to block it. So the first block is you think that you can't afford it, so you don't put it on there. You got to put it on there, okay? Second is worthiness. A lot of people struggle with worthiness. A lot of people struggle with, oh my gosh, there's a million other things on the planet that could use my time, energy, and resources. I don't think that I'm worthy of that. Or maybe mom guilt, that type of thing. But y'all, that stuff we just cannot engage in. We cannot engage in the lack of worthiness or the mom guilt. We have to just acknowledge, I am worthy of this. I do have big dreams. I do have big goals. Other people are dependent upon my goals. Other people are dependent upon my dreams. So I've got to make it happen. I've got to see beyond that. And third is basically a low-key martyr, where we do for everyone else and not for ourselves, which I know there's many of us that struggle with that, where we do for everyone else, but for some reason we won't do it for ourselves. Not so crazy. And so you guys, we have to allow ourselves to go into the dreaming. We have to allow ourselves to go into the place where we do see it as a possibility for us. We do see it as an option for us. And so that is kind of manifestation in a nutshell. So you guys, there's a piece of paper. There's a little square right there that I would love for you to touch on those topics that we talked about last week, where there was your relationships, there was your business, there was your joy. Let me go back to that page. We talked about the 5 topics of where we need to have those goals. And I would love it if you guys would be able to go back and maybe just put some things down that you would want on your poster. And I will tell you guys, actually I have it pulled up right now. I have my Pinterest. So it was passion and joy. You can put that in a corner. Career and ambition, put that in a corner. Relationships, wealth and abundance, mind, and body. And so you can put one in the middle and then have the other 4 in the corners, and just list some of those things so that when you do get home and you do get your laptop, if you don't have it with you, you can do that. You can go and you can create a wealth and abundance board. You can create a mind and body board where you put like some of your favorite quotes. You can put a passion and joy board, and that would maybe be your family or your children or your philanthropic stuff or animals, or what do you love, what do you enjoy beyond the humans in your life and beyond your Mary Kay, and you could put your Mary Kay on your passion and joy board. Absolutely. Career and ambitions. What does that look like? You can create a board for that. And then your relationships. And I think that has a lot to do with like the longevity of them, the healthiness of them, the connectedness that you have in your relationship. So you can create those 5 boards on Pinterest. You can go follow me. I have 5 boards I need to work on a little bit more. And you guys, another fun thing that you can do is you can create another board with that live list. And so as you're making that live list, you can create a board and you can see that. And so then you can put that in front of you and really see that come in together. The live list, that 10 list that you wanted to in your wildest dreams. And then there's also there's a reality board. And the reality board is things that you do make happen. So right now on my reality board, you're going to see my wedding. You're going to see part of the Croatia stuff. You're going to see the backyard that we just renovated. You're going to see these things are the things that I've been able to create through my business. And they've become my reality board now because they were on my goal poster or my, I guess that would be my future board. Was, doing a backyard and the travel and the wedding. And now they're on my reality board, which is really, really cool. So I want to see that happen for you guys too. And so go do that. And if you have any questions, let me know. Okay. So for our live workshop, I talked a little bit to you guys. Oopsies. I talked a little bit to you guys about vision and the symbols. And I told you guys what my visions were, right? I told you about the house. I told you about the chocolate chip cookies baking in the oven. And I told you about Bear running around like crazy in the house and babies crawling and the garage door opening and honey, I'm home, and not stressing about the bills being paid. A healthy conversation. I grew up in a home where my dad didn't always come home. We didn't know when he was ever going to come home. And I mean, there was a few times where my dad was chased home by the police and so that's the memory I have of a little girl. And, my mom struggling, wondering if we were going to be able to pay the bills. And honestly, my mom really never home when we got home from school because she was working 3 jobs as a single mom. And so when I think about the things that I want to be home when my kids get home. Maybe not all the time, but a good chunk of time. I want my husband to come home and for me to be home. I want him to come home at the same time every day. Who would have known that a little girl would have a dream of her husband coming home same time every day, just because I never had that. I never saw that or what that looked like, you guys. And so this activity is to give you the freedom and the ability to see what exactly is important to you. What exactly do you want? It might seem so silly, but to this little girl who is now an adult, it is so important to me that my husband walks through that door every single day at the same time. And he calls me every single day as he's walking to his car to tell me, hey babe, on my way home. And I know it takes him like 28 minutes to get home, and so that I don't have to worry, if it's been 25 minutes, like those are the things and the security that I never had, as a little girl with a daddy. Those are things that I really wanted. And it seems so silly, but y'all, that's part of my symbol. Chocolate chip cookies. I just love chocolate chip cookies. I think when I think about a chocolate chip cookie baking in the oven, I think of like, not the perfect family, because I don't desire to have the perfect family, but I just think about what makes everyone happy. Like everyone loves chocolate chip cookies. Babies love chocolate chip cookies, like adults, husbands, men, women, like everybody loves chocolate chip cookies. And it provides a warmth. The warmth that was missing when I was growing up. My mom did everything she could. My mom was amazing. Like I always tell people, like, I feel like I didn't know I lived that life till after. Like she did such an amazing job protecting us. She did such an amazing job taking care of us. But some of those things I didn't realize till after the fact. And so we get to decide what we want. We get to decide where we want to go in the life that we want to live. And so for some of you, some of my symbols are too far-fetched because you're already married. You already have your home. You already, Maybe you don't love chocolate chip cookies. So like this needs to be specific for you. Okay, specific for you. So I want to share with you guys. I told you a little bit about that vision for me, the fire coming out of the chimney, the smoke, bear, the garage door opening, all those things. I shared that with you guys a little bit already. But for me, and I want you guys to write these things down on this sheet. But for me, I'm going to tell you guys the questions that I asked myself when deciding what those symbols were going to be, when deciding what does that even look like. These are the questions that I asked myself. So these are the questions I want to ask you guys to ask yourself so you can decide what that symbol is. Okay, so your symbol, your first question is, what do I want? What do I want in my dream world? And again, this is different from manifestation. This isn't like a trip to Europe. This is like in your life, what do you want it to look like? And so what do I want? I wanted a healthy home. I wanted stability. I wanted no debt. I wanted no arguments about money. I wanted trust. I wanted faith. I wanted Jesus love and household. Those are the things I wanted. Okay, so what do you want? Do you want any of those things I listed? Do you want, healthy grandbabies? I mean, like what? Of course, we all want healthy grandbabies, but like, what do you want? What does that symbol embody for you? And then the second question is, what do I not want? What do I not want? And you guys, the reason I thought that question was important for me was because I wanted to make sure that when I was addressing the things I wanted, that I made sure to include the things I didn't want. I was becoming aware of the things that I didn't want so that I was specific about what I didn't want. I was specific about what I did want because I knew what I didn't want. Does that make sense? So like knowing what I didn't want allowed me to really be specific with what I did want. And so what do you not want? Do you want, maybe you and your mom or your grandma have struggled with communication for a really long time. And so what do you want? You want a household with healthy communication between you and your daughter. You want a home where you're uplifting. Maybe you grew up in a home that was not an affirming home. Maybe you grew up because your parents, that's all they knew. My dad did not have a healthy relationship with his parents. And so for the short window of time that my dad was in my life, he caused a lot of damage around eating, which is why me and my two sisters struggled with eating disorders, because anytime we would eat something that he did not give us permission to eat, there was major ramifications for that. And so I've always struggled with eating and the value of food and do I eat this because I may not be able to eat again for a while, like that kind of thing. And so what do you want? In my home, I don't ever want my daughters to worry about food. I don't ever want them to think that they can't eat that. I don't ever want them to think the things that I thought growing up as a little girl. So like, what do you not want? What do you want? Those are the things, you guys, that we get to decide. And the cool thing is you can move your boat. You get to decide. You get to change. Maybe you're thinking like, maybe I've already said some things I probably shouldn't have said or whatever, but y'all, we get to go back. We get to go back if we need to go back, and we get to start fresh and say like, this is how I choose to be moving forward, right? That's what we get to do. Another question, or what are my values? What are my values? I never desired to have all the money in the world. I just wanted a healthy home with stability and enough money to have a good time, to have fun, to go do things, experiences, adventures, travel. I never wanted to be a multi-billionaire, but I just wanted to have enough. I wanted to have more than enough. I wanted abundance. So what are your values? My values need to be wrapped up with my beliefs, and how I choose to raise a future family, or the things that I loved that my mom did as a single mom, the things that I loved so much. My mom, every holiday, would make pancakes in the shape and the color of that holiday. Y'all, those are things that I can't wait to do with my kids. My mom always made birthdays a really big deal. I'm so excited. I love making birthdays a big deal. Those types of things. What are your values? What do you enjoy? What is a big deal to you? Okay. What is the ultimate win here? That is your question when thinking about your symbol. What is the ultimate win here? Is it a materialistic thing? Hopefully not. Your ultimate win should just be joy, peace, thankfulness, gratefulness. Like, what is the ultimate win here? When you're thinking of a symbol, you're thinking about the one, and it can be an all-encompassing symbol of so much more. But what is the ultimate win here? So the point of a symbol is that when you don't feel like doing it, when you don't want to get up, when life is crashing down around you, when you just don't feel like it, you can think of the symbol, and that in itself will motivate you to just get into action, okay? And so what's the ultimate win here is that it has to be something that excites you, motivates you, something that brings you joy, so that when you are moving beyond what that looks like, it does just that. It gets you out of bed. It gets you motivated. So the ultimate win here for me is future peace. The ultimate win for me is in that season when I didn't have any of that, right after my divorce, the ultimate win was living in the future, doing the activity to make my future my reality. That was my ultimate win, was knowing that it's possible. I do get to do this. Like, it can totally happen because I'm putting it out there. I want it. That's what motivates me. So together they really do tie into the whole manifestation vision, that whole thing. But y'all, what was the ultimate win? The ultimate win was that I had something I was looking forward to. I could control a little bit of what that looked like based off my thoughts, my visions, my hopes, my dreams, my goals, and what I wanted out of life by my actions, but also what I was putting out there that I wanted. That was the ultimate win. Okay. What are the little things that make it real? Okay. So the little things that make it real was, for me, the chocolate chip cookies. For me, it was the garage door opening. For me, it was, the door opening, honey, I'm home, like the little things that make it seem so real. And I know I've shared with everyone what my vision was. And so if you guys can't remember, have someone strike your interest a little bit or pique your memory on that. But what are the little things? The little things to help you. And that's truly what I believe is like what kind of like seals the deal, was what that was. And then my other symbol, you guys, I told you, was the music harp, the harps, the getting to heaven and Jesus saying like, well done, my good and faithful servant, and seeing everyone I know and love in heaven, not because of me, but if I had any type of impact, I want them there, and so the little things is the harps, the music, the angels, the gates, the little things that tie it all together to make it so real. And maybe even people just saying, because of you, I'm here, knowing that I got uncomfortable and I worked my business and I shared the opportunity, which then they came to weekly meetings. They even decided they wanted to start going to church because of me, whatever it might be. But all the little things that tie it together. Okay. Okay. So you guys, these are my questions for you, and these are my facts for you. So for others, when it comes to your symbol, you guys, this is what it needs to do for you. Like I said, it needs to get you out of your own way. Your symbols need to get you out of your own way, because y'all, you will get in your way a lot. You will get in your way a lot. And so these things need to get you out of your way. Okay. Okay. They need to make you cry. They need to make you cry a little bit. They need to make you emotional, choke up, you guys. That's what's going to get you out of bed. Not the idea of going to Disney, like Disney sounds great, but when it's over, then what? The next goal, right? That's great, but this is different. This is your vision symbol. Okay. They need to be beyond you, bigger than you. You guys, that house is so beyond me, because it means that whatever future children I have, they're going to grow up healthy. They're going to grow up knowing mommy and daddy are obsessed with each other. They're going to grow up thinking about chocolate chip cookies, thinking about the smoke in the chimney and the puppy and the healthiness. That's what they're going to think about. They're going to have expectations for their future spouse based off of what they saw in the marriage of the parents that they have. That's beyond me. And then my symbol of the music notes, like that is so beyond me. That is making God's kingdom bigger. That's important. That's my symbol. That's my jam, y'all. And so that is far beyond me. And so it needs to be bigger than you. The next thing is it needs to include others. So my house included future babies. It included Bear. It included my future spouse. And y'all, this was all done far beyond any of this became my reality. Like, I didn't have a house. I was living in a 600 square foot apartment with my little dog right after my divorce. None of this was my reality, you guys. But through the vision and through the symbols, it became my reality, okay? And so I have to adjust my vision and kind of like work on recreating one, because a lot of it has come together already, okay? So it needs to include others. It needs to be unrealistic at this moment. It needs to be something that is not your reality, because how is it going to motivate you if you're living in it, right? So it needs to be unrealistic in this moment. so that you can see beyond that. So when you don't feel like going to work, y'all, you'll go to work. It also needs to be a true possibility. As much as walking on the moon sounds interesting, never on my goal poster, no thank you. But for some, maybe that's like your ultimate thing. Okay, but that's kind of like, I don't know that anybody's walking the moon, right? So like, it might not really be a possibility for you. So it does need to be a true possibility. It doesn't need to be realistic, but it does need to be a true possibility, okay? So it needs to be something that really you do see as an ultimate possibility. It might be crazy wild, but it does need to be a true possibility. And you guys, after my divorce, believe me, that house, the cookies, the husband, the dog, the babies, it seemed so far. It seemed so far for me in that season of life that I was in. But it was a possibility, okay? And then the last one is be true to the desire of your core. Be true to the desire of your core, you guys. Not just what you see today and what you want today, but what's the ultimate? What is the true to your core, where you stand, where gets you going, motivated, ultimate dream, guys? Because like that house can also embody future grandbabies. It can embody so much more. So what does that look like for you? The ultimate to your core, not just today, okay? So, I will recap my symbols for you guys just to kind of wrap this up. But my symbols right after my divorce was a home. I told you that. It was a home. It was just when I didn't feel like getting up and working my business. It was a home with healthy conversations. It was literally, I could close my eyes. I could see the house. I could touch the house. I could open the stove. I could smell the cookies. I could see the smoke coming out of the chimney. I could hear Bear running around. I could hear the garage door opening. I could hear babies calling. That was my symbol. When I did not feel like getting up, I did not feel like booking parties, I did not feel like holding that skincare class, I would close my eyes, touch, smell, think, feel. You guys, I'm not even kidding you. I could touch it, smell it, feel it. It was amazing. That was my symbol. Okay. My second symbol was because there were days where I didn't feel like doing it for me. I didn't feel like doing it for me. And I needed it to be beyond me. And so that was, and again, everyone's beliefs, you may have different beliefs, and that's fine. But my beliefs was that I'm on this earth to build God's kingdom. And when I get there, I want him to say, good job. I want him to say, good job. I want him to introduce me to the person that he created me to be, us be complete twins, not complete strangers. And I want to see heaven loaded with all the people that I love because I chose to get up and go to work. Because what I know is that this business to me is my discipleship. This is my calling. And so I know that I'm serving a bigger purpose than myself. And so that was my symbol number 2 was music notes. Because when I think I can close my eyes, I can see music notes, I can see harps, I can see heaven, I can see the gates, I can see Jesus, I can see it all. I can see all the faces. So that is my second symbol. Okay. So I want to challenge you guys to dive into that. I want you to dive into that. I want you to pray about that. I want you to be intentional. And I'm excited to hear what you guys choose for your symbols. Okay. And our last 2 pages, we're going to talk about goals, okay? We have ultimate goals, immediate goals, monthly, and then deadline goals, okay? So what are some ultimate goals that you guys might have? If I were a sales director, I'd be saying maybe my goal was to be an NSD, but my ultimate goal is Inner Circle National Sales Director over and over and over and over and over again. Debt-free, that might be a goal that you have, an ultimate goal to have a huge savings account. Maybe that's an ultimate goal. For me, an ultimate goal is to buy my mom a home. Multiple properties maybe is a goal. Travel the world might be an ultimate goal. College funds for your kids might be an ultimate goal. Y'all, sky's the limit. Maybe retire your husband. Maybe that's an ultimate goal. What are some ultimate goals that you have? Okay, what are some immediate goals that you have? Directorship, maybe pay off credit cards. That would be an immediate goal. Instead of paying off all debt, how about you just start it off with one credit card? Maybe your savings, okay, having a big saving, that's great. But what's the immediate associated with that? That would be to maybe have 1 month's worth of bills saved, right? So you guys, we're taking our ultimate and we're bringing it down a little bit into that immediate so that we get that win because we need that win, okay? And instead of, having college funds next month already saved, start your account. Start the savings account for your kids' college funds. That's easier to save when you have an account to transfer the money to, right? Okay. Maybe your desire is to travel the world. Maybe instead of traveling the world, plan a trip. Plan a future trip. Maybe it needs to be a road trip for now. Maybe your finances cannot afford the flights. Maybe in this moment, it would be smarter for you to pay off some debt and take a road trip. And that's okay. But that would be an immediate goal. Okay. What's a good monthly goal? How much are you going to save? How much are you going to save for your savings account? What's a good number to put into your savings account? That's a great thing to focus on monthly. How much do you want to put towards your credit card? So maybe $100 towards that credit card every month, something. What's your monthly goal towards that immediate that is inevitably tied to the ultimate? Okay, so that's the goal here. We want our immediate goals to be tied to the ultimate. We want our monthly goals to be tied to the immediate, okay? Okay, so the amount of money in savings account, how much you're going to put towards your credit card, and your business, if you want directorship, that was your immediate goal, directorship, since the ultimate is NSD, right? So the immediate's director, well, your monthly goal needs to be 3 new team members. Maybe it's 50 faces and 3 new team members. What is your monthly goal, you guys? We cannot have an immediate and we cannot have an ultimate if we don't have a monthly, right? We got to have a monthly to get to the immediate. And then you could even go as far as to daily. What would that look like daily? Some of these things don't work that great daily, but weekly, what if you needed to see at least 3 to 4 parties to put the money away in your savings? 3 to 4 parties a week to be able to pay that credit card. 3 to 4 parties a week to get those 3 team members. Like, you can take this even down to weekly, and then daily. Maybe daily it would be 2 hours of time every day committed to your business. You guys, what would that look like? But we do need to take it down to daily, down to weekly, down to monthly, so we can service that immediate and that ultimate, you guys. So many of us have these pie in the sky dreams, but y'all, we're not breaking it down. We got to break it down. What does that look like? We cannot become a director by seminar without a plan. We cannot. We need parties. We need a goal of team members. We need a goal of money. We need a goal of savings. A goal of paying off credit cards is not a goal. We need a plan behind that, you guys. So that's why this is so important. So but below monthly, I have written down by. And so by might be by Christmas. It might be by January. It might be by seminar, okay? And that might be, pay off this credit card by Christmas. Again, you need a plan. Pay off or have a certain amount of money in your account by Christmas so that you can have a cash Christmas. Again, we need a plan. Directorship by Christmas. Okay, what does that break down to? How many team members do we? Oh, with that, we need 4 team members a month to make that happen. What does that look like? By January, 0 debt by Christmas. Okay, perfect. What's your plan, right? Maybe you want then to have a new plan January from June to pay off another credit card. But y'all, we cannot make progress if we don't have a plan. We can't do anything by Christmas if we don't have a plan. We definitely can't do anything January through June if we don't have a plan for now through Christmas, right? So we need to have a plan. Maybe by seminar, you want to be in your pink Cadillac. With that is required a plan. That means you probably need to know how many you want to add, every single month. How many new team members do you need to add every single month? How many red jackets do you want to have, by a seminar? How many, stars do you want by seminar? You guys, those are all part of the plan. So we cannot have an ultimate. We cannot have an immediate. We can't even have a monthly if we don't have a weekly plan, if we don't have a daily plan. Okay, you guys, so that is my desire for this worksheet. I want you guys to go in, and you could have written down some of the things, grab a piece of paper, fill it out with your ultimate, immediate, monthly, by Christmas, by leadership, by, seminar. Fill that out, because y'all, goals without actions are just dreams. And we're going to be here again next year in the same boat, in the same shoes, playing the same movies in our head, playing the same life. Y'all, that's not what this is about. This is about changing our situations, getting excited about what God has put in front of us, the opportunity or what we want, or get excited about your dreams, visions, goals, symbols, and change our current situation, okay? Okay. So our last page, our very last page, and then I will be announcing our winners. When did I say our last voucher was due? I want to make sure. I will be announcing our winners that first week in October. That's exciting. That's so exciting. Okay, so let's talk business. What are some great qualities in an employee? And maybe even what does it look like for an employee versus being an entrepreneur, okay? Great qualities of an employee are respectful, on time, willing to be managed, right? They are hopefully good cohorts, like good friends, like you enjoy The quality of having a coworker. Y'all, before Mary Kay, my coworkers were my life because I spent most of my day with them. And so someone who is coachable, someone who's invested in the business, someone who's invested in the company, someone who wants to see the company do well, someone who values teamwork. Maybe you can use your imagination a little with what your job is. The not great things about being an employee is there's strict schedules, right? There's set hours. My husband has to work a certain amount of hours. And even after he's worked those hours, most of the time he works way more, and he's salary. So it's set in stone. Maybe someone has to approve all your vacations. Someone gets to tell you when you get to take your child to the doctors. Someone gets to tell you your worth. Therefore, you don't get to decide how much money you want to make, right? Those are some things about being an employee versus an entrepreneur. So when you are an entrepreneur, the qualities you have to have, you guys, is BBA, bounce back ability. Bounce back ability, you guys, that is the difference between someone who's crazy successful and someone who maybe is not. And that is the ability to get over it. Move on. Next, bounce back ability. You had a $0 party? Next. Someone canceled? Next. You got to know? Next. That's the difference. Bounce back ability, you guys. The ability to see beyond that current situation and see past and into your vision, okay? Bounce back ability. Emotional healthiness. Emotional healthiness. That is a must-have quality for an entrepreneur. Why? Because y'all, this is the life of an entrepreneur. It absolutely is. It's an up and down. It is an up and down. But y'all, it's an up and down to be an employee too. One day your boss is in a great mood. The next day he's not. The next day he is. The next day he's not. Like all these things. Like that's just life, y'all. It's a roller coaster. But we have to have emotional health and emotional management, and or at least be willing to grow in that area. Because let's be honest, I was a hot mess express when I started Mary Kay, and I was not the most emotionally healthy person, but I've always been willing to work on that. And so you got to be willing to work on that. Loyalty. In my opinion, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be loyal. You have to be loyal to the cause, loyal to the company, loyal to the business, loyal to the sisterhood, loyal to the people you're doing life with. You got to be loyal, y'all. Loyalty is my number one strength quality. Like if you are loyal, then we will be lifers because I'm all about loyalty, okay? Loyalty is so important. A must-have quality of an entrepreneur is you must be kind. You have to be kind. Y'all, not very many business owners can get away with being not nice people, right? They must be kind because your relationships that you build and develop are what will get you to that next destination. They are the ones who are going to take you to the next level. They're the ones who are going to help you be successful, is those relationships. If you're not kind, it's going to be really hard to grow any type of a relationship, which is why for me, when I go somewhere, if I see a manager down talking or belittling an employee or maybe not having a lot of support staff for their people, and I see how he's treating y'all, I won't go back because I do not like to support unkind people because listen, I have to be kind. And y'all, I will tell you, I even recently had someone who was not very kind to me about something and just made such a silly statement about from one of my skincare classes. And I could tell someone got in her ear about it because it was a completely different story from what she had experienced. And she even told me a little bit more about that. So anyway, she wasn't super kind to me, but I will tell you guys, I killed her with kindness. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. And I knew what she was saying. There was absolutely no valor to it. It was like so off the wall, y'all, so off the wall. But I mean, I even read it to one of my directors and was like, am I weird or is this super crazy? She's like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And I was like, I know. So anyways, with that being said, I killed her with kindness. You guys, why? Because sure, I could have been like, dude, you're crazy. That's not even possible. Like I could have absolutely said that, but I didn't. I just said, I'm so sorry you feel that way. And I will definitely take that into consideration. And, I'd love to make this right in any way that I can, blah, blah, blah. Because I don't care to be the person that ruins someone else's day. And when I'm kind, I know that God is going to honor that, right? And so kindness is so crucial. It's so crucial, you guys. As much as we want to be brats or give it to them or whatever, kindness is so important. And kindness to your sister consultants, kindness to your sales director. You guys, whether you like it or not, The way you treat people are the way that people will treat you. So I always tell my consultants, I'm like, okay, you guys, your sales director, and I'm not even talking about me, your sales director, you better treat her nice, because when you become a director, that's how your people are going to treat you. Right? Yeah. If you are not kind to your sales director, you guys, don't be surprised when you become a director and people do not respect you, because what you give is what you get. It's just part of it. What you give is what you get. And so I will always try to kill people with kindness. Be kind, because I want to be treated with kindness. And to be honest, y'all, I really very rarely ever deal with someone who's rude, because I'm kind. And so you get what you give. Okay. A quality of an entrepreneur, you have to have the it's my baby mindset. It's my baby mindset. You guys, this is your baby. It's not anyone else's baby. It's not your husband's baby. It's not your children's baby. It's not your director's baby. It's your baby. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're the first to show up, the last to leave, always cleaning. I mean, like, this is your baby. It's no one else's. So if people don't jump on board with your goals, find someone who will. It's your baby. It's no one else's baby. And it's not a sign from God that you're not supposed to be doing this. It's your baby. It's no one else's baby. It means you just got to do more. You know, someone came up to me last night and was like, I have 12 team members and only 3 are active. And I said, okay. And she said, the rest of them aren't even responding or doing anything. And I said, so you have 3 team members. She's like, well, I technically have 12. I said, no, you have 3. And she was like, finally it hit her. And I was like, listen, I think the problem today is people don't like telling us, no, thank you. They don't like saying, I really just wanted the starter kit and I don't really want to do this as a business. They don't want to disappoint us. People just don't want to disappoint us. They don't. It's easier to ghost than say, no, thank you. I know, it's ridiculous. But the reality is, it is so much easier to go find new people than bring others back from the dead, right? You guys, if they want to come back, they will. Be there for them. Let them know you're here when they're ready. Move on. Quit dragging them. They're not going to be the person to get you to the next place, y'all. So it's your baby mindset. Entrepreneurs, we have to be willing to be inconvenienced. We have to be willing to be inconvenienced, guys. Ooh, I know that's no fun, but reality is that's the truth. Y'all, you could go get a job and get a normal paycheck, or you can be an entrepreneur and design your paycheck. You know, I was thinking about it on my drive to Alabama about, you know, sometimes how I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the car. It's 3 a.m. This is crazy. Who does this? I do this, right? And then I was thinking about how amazing my life is. How amazing my life is. That I have the most phenomenal sales directors on the planet. I have the most amazing consultants on the planet, whom of which I call family, and some of my very best friends. And I'm so lucky. And oh my gosh, talking about blessed. I had an awesome July paycheck that I was able to tithe a big amount, that I was able to hand my husband a blank check and say, do what you want with our backyard, that we leave for Croatia and we're going on our dream vacation. I mean, how blessed is that? And it's not because Brittany's lucky. It's not because Brittany hit the jackpot. It's because Brittany was willing to be inconvenienced. It's because Brittany was willing to get in the car at 3 a.m. and drive. So many times in the past, so many times I was willing to be inconvenienced. So many times I heard no. More times than I could ever count. I've had more $0 parties than I could ever count. I've had more hard conversations. I've had more heartbreak. I've had more, I've had it all. But because I was willing to do all of that and take all of that, I live a blessed life. I live my life that I love. And believe me, I am far from dead, far from stopping. Like, I have even bigger goals, and I have difficulties still today. I have hardships today. I have struggles today. But when I decide to go down the path of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing at 3 a.m.? This is crazy. I change my route to, wow, I'm so blessed. Wow, I'm so blessed. And God, thank you so much for giving me the willingness to keep going. Thank you so much for giving me just the dream to keep going. Thanks for keeping that dream alive in my heart. Thank you for putting the right people in my path. Thank you for giving me the wisdom and discernment on how to handle situations. Thank you for equipping me every single day still on how to handle that. Well, thank you. And so when you decide to go down the path of the woe is me, or the is this really for me, or is this working, or blah, 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 I want to challenge you to count your blessings. Count the things that you have to be grateful for. List the things that you have to be grateful for. And be appreciative, because y'all, God can't give us more when we're not even grateful for what we have, okay? And so the other great things about being an entrepreneur, it allows for growth. It allows for growth where so many others are stagnant. It allows for you to be independent. Like, yes, please. And you guys, both of these are so crucial. Both qualities of an entrepreneur and an employee are so crucial. But neither the entrepreneur lifestyle or the employee lifestyle are guaranteed unless you do the work. You gotta work. That's the one thing my mama taught me all was work ethic. My mom taught me work ethic, y'all. My mom worked her butt off. And it was the most rewarding thing on the planet to look at my mom on seminar stage, July of 2016, and say, it's because of you I'm standing here. It's because of you I'm standing here. You showed me every single day what it was like to get up even when you didn't want to. Get up when you didn't have any sleep. Get up when you didn't even have probably gas in your tank to get to work. Like, you got up every single day and you showed me and my 3 sisters what it was like to get up and hustle, to get up and grind, not even knowing what that was going to look like for you and your future. But you got up and you did it anyways. And because of that, me and my sisters are living an amazing life. And y'all, my mom lives an amazing life. She's with my sister in San Diego for 6 months, helping her with baby Sawyer, comes back, visits me, gets to see her other grandbabies, stays with me for free. When they moved to Texas for a year, they lived with us, y'all. I mean, like, my mom is living her best life because of the life that she chose to live 30 years ago. And because she chose to get up every day and fight for what she wants, you guys. Not for what she needed, but for what she wanted. She could have totally used the system. She could have totally tried to take advantage. I mean, and it would have been warranted. It would have been warranted. But no, she wanted to show us what it was like to fight for what you want. 15, we all bought our own cars, y'all. I mean, my mom was the most impeccable leader in our household. And I'm so grateful for her. So are you the impeccable leader in your household, showing these babies what it looks like to fall and get back up, what it looks like to fail and get back up, what it looks like to miss a goal and get back up? Y'all, I'm so grateful for my mom. I'm so grateful my mom did that every day. I'm so grateful I saw her struggle, because I'm not fearful of the struggle, y'all. I'm not fearful of what that looks like, because I get to see the life she lives today. I'm not afraid of that. And so, y'all, we got to show that. We got to show that to our babies. We got to show them what it's like to fight for what we want and not be afraid of the struggle, not be afraid of falling down and getting back up. But they need to see us get back up, you guys. And so this has been a powerful 4 weeks for me. I've had so much fun. I love sharing with you guys just any words of wisdom that I have, my heartache, my pain, so that you could learn from that. And again, you guys, I do not know everything. I am so far from perfect. Your sales director probably knows way more than me. She's had way more experience. She's probably more polished than me. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm unapologetically me, y'all. And this is what you see is what you get. But I'm so grateful that I get to be Brittany. I'm so grateful that I get to be Brittany Wirt. No one else gets to be Brittany Wirt. I'm grateful for who I am, the skin that I'm in, the story that I own, and the life that I live. And so I pray that you guys will step into the best version of you. You will utilize some of these skills. You will work on your thoughts, your fear, your confidence, your bookings, your second appointments, your goal posters, all the things. And you will make this a crazy, crazy, powerful year. And you guys, the best thank you that you could ever give me is do something. Don't settle for where you're at right now. Go beyond that. Hit your goals, make them happen. The monthly, the weekly, the immediate, the ultimate, you guys. That is the best thank you and the best gift you can give to me is get to action, get to work, and tell me. I want to hear what you accomplished through doing this and then making it happen, you guys, moving forward. So I love you guys tons. Stay tuned. I'll be posting for everyone who the winners are. And I originally said I was going to do winners per workshop, but I realized that's not really fair because some workshops have 20 people and some have 60. So we're going to be doing an overall top 10 consultants and overall a top 5 for directors under unit size 30 and over unit size 30. But I'm excited to share who our winners are, celebrate you guys. And I'm just going to say, like, let's make big things happen, you guys. Continue doing the work that you did to get here. Continue, step it up, get out of your comfort zone, do things you've been unwilling to do to go places that you've never experienced before. So I love you guys tons. And I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about your wins. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.